Hey everybody, hey, it's Rob at Old Style Classics Baseball Cards. Coming at you with a different episode today on August 25th, Sunday, 3:20 a.m. And what I'm going to do a little different for you today is we're going to do some Old Style Classic baseball cards. So to try to get you guys to subscribe and like and leave a message, send people my way. That'd be awfully nice of you. I'd do the same for you. And what we're doing is a little more modern, but just not that. Hold on. We're going to do some modern and some old style, old cards. So we're doing a little bit of both, people, and they're related. All right, thank you, people. So once again, we're doing something more modern, within the last 21 years. So we are going to do some cards from 2003, but that's also going to lead us to do some cards from 1912 to 2003, folks. And what's the relation between these cards, you ask? Well, they're both old style classics baseball cards in my estimation. And what we're going to be doing is first, Topps 205. So now they came out with Topps 206, which you guys all know about the minis that they do, Topps 206. Now, Topps 206 they did like in the early 2000s, like let's say 2001, 2002. Then they did these Topps 205s. Then they all went away for a while. Then Topps brought Topps 206 back, which is based on the T206 tobacco cards. They brought those back around 2010. Did it a couple more years. Didn't really have the success they were looking for. They went away, and now they've come back as just the mini tobacco cards that you can order from Topps online exclusives. But this was, they did the Topps 206 first, and then they tried the Topps 205. Now, the problem with the Topps 206 is the big cards, which these 205s are the full-size card. The 206s just really didn't look that good in the full-size card, much like the National Chicle. The full-size cards just didn't work. The minis were cool, but people either love or hate minis, and I'm a lover of minis. Now that's one of the reasons why I don't have a whole lot of this stuff, is because I prefer tobacco minis over these old looking cards being full size. So that being said, let's get to it, people. I'm going to show you the Topps 205 cards, and these are really good looking for the full size cards, but really the reason I didn't get these, most likely, it's a little blurry there, is because I didn't know about them. So I really didn't start really buying again until like 2006. That's when I first saw Allen and Ginter's. So that's what I really focused on, Allen and Ginter's. And then when I moved here, they came out with Gypsy Queen, or it had just recently come out. So I was kind of into that. And then I found out about the 205, 206s. I bought some of that stuff up, what they had. And the 205s, I only kind of knew in passing. Now, fast forward about, now, what I'm talking about is 2011, 2012 when I moved here, before I found out about 205 and 206. So then you got to go forward about 4 to 5 years. I was working at Google. I had already bought a bunch of Topps 206s because I was trying to get the Cal Ripken Jr. mini framed, and because that was going for a lot of money at the time, and I just wanted it, which I never got it, but that was one I was chasing. Anyways, I started working for Google, and they sent us down to LA. I went into a card shop just sort of near Venice, maybe a mile or two away from Venice, like over by this Costco somewhere over there. And I went in this little card store, and they had a box of these Topps 205 with just a few packs in it. Now, I think I have some other ones somewhere else. So I think about like 4 or 5 packs. I think that's all they had. I even had the box for a while. I don't know where it's at. I know I still have a wrapper. But anyways, I bought those. I assumed they were going to have tobacco minis, but they didn't. But they're super cool, good looking cards. And they follow the same pattern as the original tobacco 205s. And that Jason Giambi there, the American League players are going to look like that with that diamond. So Jason Giambi, New York Americans. And just so you know, those are going to be full-size cards. And not tobacco minis. Alright, so these are just beautiful cards. If Topps 206 did as good a job as they did with these, they might still be around. These are just epic. They're just beautiful cards with that gold. If you get them in nice shape, it's just night and day between Topps 205 and 206. In my opinion. Hey, people, besides liking and subscribing, please make sure you set the speed of your video to like 1.25 or 1.5 and to make me sound a little more normal, because I've got that scratchy kind of weak voice going on. So it just helps because I tend to be a little monotone. So, alright folks, but they're just beautiful cards. Yeah, or had they put these out before the 206, maybe they'd still be around. Pardon me, folks. Alright, so let's see. I'm going to set these here. Alright, now to the National League. What do you got there? It looks like Hall of Famer. So there's the National League version with that dark NY up there for the New York Mets. Hall of Famer Mike Piazza. So you can check that out. No codes yet, so they didn't have a code down there in the small print. Alright, so there's his stats up to that point. As I said, these are 2003. So that was 3 years before Allen and Ginter came out. So they were toying with these old school cards even before Allen and Ginter, but they just never landed. So 206 tried it with the minis, a kind of a gold thick card, didn't look anything like this, and just kind of bland. And those didn't. They tried it for a few years, that didn't work. Then they tried this, and I think people were already kind of like burnt. They just couldn't find the right balance until they got Allen and Ginter out there. Just simple, beautiful cards, and you get the mini and you get the oddball stuff, and just a huge hit. Baseball card set of the year 2006. Alright, next we have this guy here, Montreal Expos. So let's expose who he is, because I can't read that. Jose A.C. Vidro. So number 14, Jose Vidro. I don't remember him. And I'm kind of shocked that, you know, these went pretty much straight into the box. I actually opened them down in L.A. When we were staying there, and I just stuffed them into my luggage as best I could, and they turned out alright. Like I said, I think I got about 2 or 3 packs worth more somewhere. They just weren't with these. And then I think I went to San Diego in 2016 and went to that hobby shop and bought a few packs of 206s they had sitting there, and I believe somewhere up in the peninsula as well. But these are cool cards. I would definitely, maybe I should look into if anyone, eBay has any hobby boxes or anything like that. It's just beautiful. There you go, Bernie Williams with the American League version of the Topps 205. So Bernie Williams, there you go, Yankee fans. Pause that, read about Bernie. All right, my man, Alfonso Soriano, one of the greats. And speaking of Alfonso Soriano, they were just talking about how Shohei Ohtani was like the quickest to 40-40 club, and Soriano's on that list, like in that top 5 list. So I just seen that today, I believe, when I was watching the Cubs game, and they kind of really stuck it to the Marlins today, so it was like 14-2. But hey, people, I got to tell you something. Oh boy. So college football just started again, right? And I'm a New Mexico Lobo fan. Now, I'm not a big fan of college football, but of course I want my team to do okay. I'm more of a college basketball kind of guy. So Alfonso there. Now, watching my Cubs play, and then I was seeing if the New Mexico Lobos were on them. And they've been horrible, people. They've been horrible for probably about 15 years now. And then they were horrible for they were good for about 6 or 7, 8 years. John Schmaltz, Hall of Famer, National League, Atlanta. So when I grew up, they were always horrible. We used to have tickets because my brother worked at the golf course for the university. And so we got free tickets to the Lobos football, like season tickets, and for the basketball. Now, I was more into basketball, and I loved my New Mexico Lobo basketball team, and they've always been pretty good. They've had a few down times for a while, bad coaches and stuff like that. But we always tend to lose our coach. But besides that, I liked basketball better. Next one we have here, the Rockies, Jason Jennings. So please pause and read that. So anyways, he had tickets to the football game, and I think the football as well, so I only went a couple times. And they just stunk. Like my whole life growing up, they stunk. And then I believe they hadn't been to a bowl game in like 40 years or something like that. And I don't think they had had a winning record in like 30 years. And then finally I believe the 1990s, they got Rocky Long, he used to go to UNM. I think he played for the team. Johnson, New York Yankees. And they steadily got better, made a few bowl games, and actually won one. And then, because they couldn't get any further than that, I guess he felt like he was run out of town. And then they never recovered. They've never recovered since then. Brought in multiple coaches, had all kinds of controversial coaches, punching players and stuff like that, getting charged, all these kind of things. So now they got Bronco Mendenhall, who is associated with us in the past somehow. And so as I'm watching the Cubs game, I pull, they're not on TV, they're on Fox Sports 1, so I don't have that. Tom Glavine, Hall of Famer. And so I look up the score while I'm on the computer watching the Cubs game. And at some point in time, they were up like 34 to like 12 or something like that. And it was like 6 minutes left in the third. And then I thought, oh, that must be over. So I checked the score again, and they were up like 34 to like 20 or something like that, with like 6 minutes left in the game. Tom Glavine, Hall of Famer. And as I'm sitting there watching it, they move the ball up to like their 30-yard line, or their 5-yard line. And instead of trying to kick a field goal, They punt the ball back. They get it, like run 16 yards. And then the next thing I know, the guy ran for like 60 some odd yards for a touchdown. Get the extra point. All right. Omar Vizquel. That's a nice one. Look at that. Look at how that gold and burgundy looks together. Nice. Interesting Indians hat there with an eye. Omar Vizquel. And then we get the ball back. We march down the field again. They get to about the 50-yard line, let's say, and then they can't get a first down. Punt the ball away again. The guy runs like 13 yards. And then they march it down with 1 minute left, and the guy runs in for a touchdown. And with 10 seconds left, and we lose. We were literally up like 34 to like 6 or something at some point in time. They only led the game for 10 seconds of the game, and they managed to blow it, people. I couldn't believe it. And this was to Montana State, so I think they're an FBS. Like, they're not even, what is that, like junior college level at that for football. So here we go again. They score all those points and then can't shut down a lower level school. Preston J.D. Wilson, Colorado. But now later on, my New Mexico United soccer team from the USL was on, but I got the time zones mixed up. So when I went to go watch it, it was already over. So they won 1-0 against Colorado Springs, I believe, or somebody like that. So they're still in first place and just rolling. So I guess that's bonus. Anthony John Przinski. Yeah, that's the dude that got in a fight with the Cubs back in the day, where I got punched him in the face. Alright. So there's my sports day, but hey, the Cubs are the most important thing. They won. Should be a Hall of Famer, Curt Schilling. I don't care what you think about his politics or his opinions on medical and all that kind of stuff. The Hall of Fame's about your baseball career, not, what side of the aisle you're on, in my opinion. It's one thing if you're cheating during baseball or doing stuff like Pete Rose or Barry Bonds or Sammy Sosa, McGuire, or you go out and rob a bank or something while you're playing baseball. That's one thing. But saying something however many years after you retired, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that should have anything to do with him being in the Hall of Fame. And that's just my opinion. Alright, so moving along. BJ Upton. That's pretty cool too, that dark blue with the gold. So sorry about the long story, people. My rant for the day. My levels stunk it up again. Alright, and Marte. That must be Starlin, right? Andy Marte, wow. And I'm not aware of him. Unless it's like a Mike Stanton kind of situation where he became Giancarlo Stanton later. So anyways, there's your modern players right there on the 205 cards. But we do have a few old school players that they slip in there too. That's not the Cubs, that's Cincinnati Red Leggings. And we have Richard Hobblitzel. So you can read about him. 1907 it looks like. So that's pretty cool. So they had 400 cards in this set, apparently. I'm going to set that aside because we're going to look at that again. And then we have an American League one, so that's kind of cool. Wallace, St. Louis. Whoop. Cool card. Alright, so Roderick Wallace. set him over here because I'm not really going to need to compare him to anything. So now we're going to move on to that pre-war card, people, to just trying to give you a little bit of a look. So Cincinnati with the C on the full-size card, and my T205, not Tops, but T205, James Sheckard. So this gives you an idea how they're approaching it. Basically the same stuff. This one doesn't have the stats on here, so maybe a regular player might be a good one to look at. So similar. Alright, let's see here. Yeah, that one's kind of weird. Why has it got all this stuff going on the front? Just not this one. That last one we looked at, I don't know what's going on with all this stuff. That's a little weird. That must be like a variation or something. Alright, so obviously put Tops where it would have said Cubs, but the backs are, you know, they got rid of the tobacco back and put the Tops back there. So there you go. That's pretty cool. So there we have it, people. I believe this is like 2012, excuse me, 1912, and these 2003. So there you go. You get this little. Now I think it would have been cool if they did minis, because obviously they would have looked cool if they did that. So that's pretty neat. So there's my Hassan. Pretty beat up, but it's a Cub, so that's super cool. I dig that. I'll set this aside. And now, people, I'm going to go ahead and show you another old style classic card, but an old card nonetheless. My 1912 T202 Hassan Cigarettes Chance Beat Out Hit McIntyre and Archer 2.5 triple folder. So there's a triple folder. Now keep in mind, this came in like a regular pack of cigarettes, and then these, the triple folders, you know, these would fold over, and these were put into the Hassan cigarettes, but it was like a bigger pack, you know, so like bigger pack here. So you can stop and read all that if you like. There goes the air conditioner. Let's see if we can get this to focus. Sorry about the plastic over there. Alright, so hopefully you guys can stop and read about that. And so once again, the other thing about these is they look like mini cards, but they're not. You know, they're not tobacco minis just plugged on the side here. So they are definitely smaller than your typical tobacco mini. And you ask yourself, well, why am I showing you this? So there's the front. Harry McIntyre and Mr. Archer there, and they're all Cubs. So cool thing for me is I was able to find these all in Cubs, which is my team. And these all would have been all four of these guys would have been teammates. So you got Chance there in the picture, but I'm still not sure. It says beats out a single, so I don't know, is it he's outrunning a single and that's him, or he beat the guy by getting the ball? So if anyone knows, let me know. But the reason I want to show you these is because in the Tops 205 set, I guess the version of instead of doing mini cards like they did in Tops 206, they chose to, I don't think it was in every pack, but in maybe every few packs, they did their own version of the triple folder. Now, of course, It doesn't have the same exact back. And on top of that, the center card is the size of a full-size card. And obviously, the full-size card is much bigger than that. It's much so, for printing reasons, they did it this way. So these cards are going to be a little bit bigger than that, but it's the same concept. But for whatever reason, obviously probably for financial reasons, it was easier for Topps to do it this way and not try to like have to order special size paper or something like that. So we're going to set that off to the side. And what we're going to look at here is these do come folded. I believe this one was misfolded and it was folded backwards. So as you see there, it's got Derek Jeter and Nomar Garciaparra. So Nomar, Derek Jeter, and play at second. So I believe it's those two at the play at second. Now they put these little sticky, oh, I lost one. These like little sticky things here where they stick to something, but they don't like damage it. So it's pretty neat, you know. So they put a filter on them to make them look kind of like they're painted, and the look is really good, and it's cool because different than this. I don't know if they ever did triple folders in any other year that were like this, but I don't think so. I think they're just taking this design and applying it to Topps 205. As you can see, it says there, and you could probably, you know, set it up like that on your table or something if you're a kid. So, you know, because this and this is all done by the same company that owns these different cigarette brands, American Tobacco Company. So I think what they did was just say, well, we're going to do this, but in the 205 version. And yeah, they're super cool. I love them. They're just beautiful cards, neat stuff. And so since they did that, they kind of went with the typical backs that they were doing for like Topps 206 and all that, which is like the polar bear and all that kind of stuff. And so, and I like that red writing. It kind of pops a little bit. That's pretty cool. So anyways, baseball series, assorted designs, polar bear, always the best. They give you a little factory number there. Same thing, 2003. So these came in random packs of those Topps 205s. Alright, so we're going to set this one aside. This one's being, oh, there's the little sticky thing right there. So I'm going to put it back to the way it was, because it does not want to sit this way, people, the way these other cards are. Alright, set that aside. Alright, so next we have, oh, and as you can see, these are numbered as well. So triple folder number 9. And that is Jimmy Rollins and Jason Kindle. So the thing is, you do have to be a little careful. You don't want to bend this card. You know, you got to get that little, pop that out. Just be gentle. There we go. So there you go. You got Jimmy Rollins and Jason Kindle. So there they are in the picture as well. Now this set is famous for the Ty Cobb coming into slide, like sliding into third, but like still in the air when he goes into his slide. So Kindle, and so there you go. As opposed to these ones, it's the National League design instead of that triangle. It's got the National League design. So a little closer to those. but basically going with this without the gold. So I guess it is more like these. So nevertheless, you got the Pirates there and the Phillies. So Mike Owen, you guys. So there you go, Jason Kindle and Jimmy Rollins. So we'll put them each in there so you can read them. Pause it. So those are super cool. And then they just sit like that. And that's maybe why they did it, because then it would just be the regular size of a card. I wonder if these, yeah, I guess those two. So it's like they just had to use a sheet and just use 2 cards worth of a sheet printed sideways to make these, and it's just cheaper to do that than to come up with a special size. So that makes sense. We deduced that, folks. Then we have number 16, pick off at first. And pop this open. This one, this is probably my favorite one, because who do we got there, folks? Mr. Ichiro Suzuki. Always the best factory, number 6, first district. So pick off attempt at first. Ryan Klesko there. Hopefully you can read that. And then Mr. Ichiro Suzuki, who should be in the Hall of Fame next year easily. And but look at that, folks. So that's got a little interleague play too. So I never noticed that before, because I don't really mess with these cards. I don't want to mess up the you know, by pulling them open a lot. But there you got the American League design on the Ichiro and the National League design on the Klesko. So they're all trying to pick off old Ichiro. I wonder if that looks to be, is that in Seattle? Or could that be a Padres home uniform on a special day? Nevertheless, that's cool. So they did, that's cool. I never noticed that they did one of each there. So that's pretty sweet. That's nice. So once again, Ichiro and Company. And then the last one we have here is National Anthem. So you can read that there. Let's see if we get that in clear. Pause it. And then you have Derek Jeter again and Alfonso Soriano, but they're both for the Yankees there. So apparently they're not opposing each other. So that's why they're doing the National Anthem. So let's see if we can gently open this with the great Alfonso Soriano. And a lot of people like Derek Jeter. Hey, looking who else made an appearance in that card. Oh, no, is that him? Okay. Wow, look at his hair. That's weird. It looks like it's almost painted on. But that's super cool. That Derek Jeter looks really good in that blue. Just kind of a color match with the team stuff there. So I don't know who that is then. Yankees fans probably know. But there's Soriano. I never seen him without his hat on. He looks like a completely different person. So people, there it is. That is the beautiful Topps 205 set. Yeah, probably an underrated set that didn't get a lot of attention because the 206s really didn't do a whole lot at the time, or maybe they did and maybe they just decided to go a different direction. But these are exactly the kind of things I like. Old style classics baseball cards, because they're old style, just like old style old cards. So there you have it, folks. Good job, Topps. Unfortunately, they went away. So, hey everybody, thanks. Sorry about the long video. Have a good Sunday. I'll probably put something out tomorrow or tonight later. Alright, see ya.